It's Wednesday. That means it's time for some DeFi analysis. Let's take a look at some charts. We've got Bitcoin dominance right off the bat, and I'll say it before I say anything else. Alt BTC charts are getting slaughtered today as Bitcoin has an incredibly strong 10%-ish day. It's going to happen. Alt BTC charts are going to look terrible. I'm looking at none of them in this video, mainly sticking to USD charts as I typically do. But it's always good to evaluate trading positions versus BTC, because if you're not going to beat BTC, then what's the point? If you're not going to beat the index, the benchmark, the buy and hold of either ETH or BTC, maybe ETH is more important in this case because you're trading ETH for some of this DeFi stuff directly. But paying attention to that is probably more important than trying to trade some of this USD stuff, especially as a buy and hold. As a breakout trade, BNT, the last chart I'm going to show, that had an 80% move. That's obviously going to outperform BTC in that day. So if you're ready and willing to take the risk there, the opportunity cost, obviously you're going to have a great trade. And you're going to beat BTC, and you're going to be out and back into BTC by the time BTC moves, ideally. But on some of the stuff that's buy and hold, you're getting crushed. Bitcoin dominance is rising here. Again, it's bouncing off the 200-day moving average. We're above the 200-day moving average for Bitcoin season. So as a whole, alts will not outperform BTC, most likely. DeFi perp index, a lot of sideways bouncing around. Nothing really to say about this other than just ranging. It's not trending. A lot of the stuff that I'm about to show isn't really trending. Link has done extremely well, as I say, every video since mid-2018, right? Like, look at this trend. It's textbook. In the middle of the pitchfork the entire time and above the 200-day moving average. The brown zone is where price wants to live, wants to be. So it's effectively right where it should be. If you're bullish on it, you're just buying every dip that ever happens and expecting this pitchfork to hold for 2 more years, 3 more years, whatever it is. And you're selling, you're selling up here, you're buying down here. That's just how you trade a pitchfork. You're buying anything that gets close to the 200-day moving average. That's kind of just how you play the moving averages. So overall, Link looks strong. Nothing super crazy on the USD chart trend-wise. Looking at AAVE on the 2-hour, above the 200, above the cloud. This looks good for potentially another run. It had a run on the 2-hour Kumo breakout twice already, above the 200 period moving average. It had a bullish reconsolidation. So it kind of had an extension after this first run. So to expect another run here isn't unreasonable. I like 100 just as a flat psychological resistance target. But overall, this looks good on trend for up. You contrast that with Uni, and it is below the cloud, below the 200, below VPVR resistance. It just, if I had a choice, I'm trading AAVE all day long over Uni. Uni might not perform over time, but the risk reward, the sentiment, the setups here for AAVE on trend just look way better to me than Uni does until it gets above basically 370, 380. If it's above 380, come talk to me. If it's above $4, I'll buy some. Sometimes that's just how it is. Sometimes it's a breakout trade. This could form a multi-week inverted head and shoulders at the top. That's not unreasonable as well. If this pulls up to 4, gets denied, we get another shoulder equal here, we get another shoulder equal here, you can start imagining what that might look like. And at that point, the long gets much more attractive, when we're at that $4 mark for that breakout trade. SNX, kind of like Link, kind of like the DeFi perp. It's all over range-wise, so it's hard to really evaluate trend strength. It's above the 200 daily moving average, so it's obviously on the bullish side of that. It's got some upside. VPVR resistance, it's got all-time high resistance, but if this acts like a falling wedge, eventually the target will be between 10 and 13. Nothing's really changed there. As long as it can hold above the 200-day moving average, it's probably good to go. It did have some concern for this head and shoulders on lower time frames. That looks like it's canceled now. It's above the right shoulder. So it looks good for up eventually over time. It's hard to say what sort of momentum is here. UMA, a bit of a surprise. That's the the issue with Uni, right? Like, you look at this and it's kind of like UMA pre-breakout. And this is what I'm talking about with the BTC pairs. UMA is going to outperform BTC on this day. In the coming days, unlikely, right? It'll give back some of those gains on the BTC pair. I don't know why this popped up. I don't really care, but it's difficult to trade that unless you are buy and hold. There really wasn't any impetus here that I can see, trend-wise. Maybe it got listed somewhere. I don't know, but it broke this VPVR resistance, hit 10, and now it's just relaxed there at 10. Probably need some time to go again, if it will go again, but very difficult to actually trade that based on what it looked like prior. It's like looking at Uni and expecting just some 2x pump or something. YFI quietly just holding above the 200-day moving average, still on the 200 period moving average on the 4-hour, mainly just ranging. If you are a believer, you're looking at this volume, you're looking at this bounce on the 200 daily moving average, and you are expecting higher highs here. I don't really see any pattern or anything to make out of this. You could arguably say an ascending triangle, which does have a bullish bias. So above 30K, it should try for another run. But really, it's just this volume that looks really good to me at this level. If people are buying up here, they're expecting higher highs, right? Comp USD has gave back, looks like 25% of that move that it had the other day on the 6-hour. It's still relatively bullish. It's just, it's hard to trade these up and down trades, right? It's much easier to pick out a trend when you're getting this multi-month downtrend and you finally break some EMAs, et cetera, et cetera. This up-down stuff, extremely difficult to trade, realistically. Unless you're keyed into this stuff on like the hourly, right? But again, just ranging here above the 50. Nothing too specific really that I see here. Besides a new VPVR node that's kind of emerged at 155 as resistance and 135 as support. So maybe it just ranges here until it makes a decision. But doesn't look like a long trade setup at the moment. Ren is renning. I mean, it's this thing I always look at with this lately is this descending volume profile. So it looks like it should have some sort of obvious consolidation here, but I can't see anything. I don't know. Running in through my mind's eye pattern matcher simulator algo, I don't see anything here other than inverted Adam and Eve, bearish 5200 cross on the 12-hour. So this doesn't look bullish. It's below the 200. On the 12-hour, it looks like it's going to bear cross for the first time since April. Looks like it has a potential inverted Adam and Eve, descending volume profile. So I think the sentiment and expectation is down. If the market as a whole is mega bullish, I doubt Ren is going to not follow that direction. So maybe it just bumbles around here between 40 and 33 cents a little while longer. But in a vacuum, this likely retests this low at like 15 or something like that. But not really a trade setup for me. Serum, surprisingly, on the 4-hour, argument for a diamond bottom here. Love the structure. Love the massive volatility. This is what you want to see. If you want to check out an ideal diamond bottom, go to like the BNB USD or BNB BTC. I can't remember. But you can see exactly what I mean. Right at the top, you get this massive volatility. It's kind of like a double wedge situation where the volatility in the middle is just crazy high, and then it calms down again, and then it reverses. This is a reversal setup. I don't think this is a down reversal. I think this is an up reversal. Even though the MAs are kind of a mess, anything above 130, local highs, it's game on for 180, $2, 240, something in there. I guess we'll see how it looks at around 180, but trend-wise, I expect this to make a nice move above 130. So, I'd rather trade this with the expectation of up than Ren, which is, doing a bunch of nothing, right? So it's about a give and take. It's about opportunity cost. It's about looking at relative pairs, that sort of thing. Which helps if you do this yourself, and you take your system and you scan 15, 30 charts, whatever it is, you can say, okay, this one looks good, this one looks good, this one looks crap, this one is so dead, this one's okay. You can do stuff like that. Algo, low time frame, inverted head and shoulders, 5200 bull cross on the daily. A lot of charts kind of look like this BNT. Again, I'll mention that at the very end, but Kava, similar, band, similar. Not a perfectly structural inverted head and shoulders, but you can clearly see the shoulders and the head and the neckline. So the expectation again here is higher highs, probably 50 cents. would be my guess. A nice psychological round number. I wouldn't expect massive move beyond the recent local high. It's kind of like, okay, we consolidated, we're going to move up. We consolidate again, see what happens. Watch it from there, that sort of thing. So I like 50 cents for algo in the near term. Band, man, I've been watching this one for weeks. Still haven't pulled the trigger myself on a buy, but the edge-to-edge move looks really good still, the possibility of it. Band ETH, though, looks worse and worse every day. You could argue, I'm just seeing like descending volume, or descending triangle here, which speaks to more down. So it's hard to want to jump out of ETH and into Band when you see this. Now, obviously, if you can catch the move, Band will outperform anything on that day. If it has this 80% move or whatever, like BNT did. But the trick is, like double Dutch, getting there at the right time, jumping in and not falling over. So I still like this for up on Band as far as the edge-to-edge is concerned. .USD, another kind of lukewarm, bullish thing. Last week I talked about the inverted Adam and Eve that recovered at the horizontal support where it needed to. So, much like Ren, it's kind of like all over the place. The 5200 on the 4-hour did cross bullish. I don't know. This isn't a chart that I have a lot of confidence in one way or the other. So, it's a no trade for me as far as setups are concerned. Kava, another potential Adam Eve or Eve or Adam, whatever you want to call it. Massive descending volume profile here really points to the potential structural consolidation here. So again, I like this edge-to-edge trade from 170 to 350, something like that. So almost a 2x, 100% move. Again, if it looks like, I keep talking about it, but if it looks like BNT, the possibility is there for this edge-to-edge move. It's no surprise that BNT slowed down at the other edge of the cloud because it is some 50% fib. That's all the cloud ever is, the flat Kumos on the cloud here. So Kava, that's possible. Band again, back to it, same thing. Just in case you think I'm crazy and don't know what I'm talking about as far as possibilities, that's what I'm looking at. Sushi looks like a rising wedge. Arguably bearish divergence here, definitely on the last couple highs, last couple volume up thrusts. Likely get a bearish TK cross here on the 6-hour soon. So if I were to long this, I would be waiting for the bullish TK recross above the cloud, which looks like it's going to happen, like it did previously in December. That's your long entry signal. Right now, for me, at resistance in a rising wedge, not a long trade. But trend looks great. I think long term it looks fine. Just the better long position entry for me is a little bit lower. Wing USDT 6-hour M double top below the cloud, just above the 200. I don't know. This is an avoid for me. Just no trend anymore. It made its move and that was it. B0X, similar kind of to Wing actually. But the long entry would be price above the cloud, somewhere around 29 cents or thereabouts. Kind of like Ren, kind of like all the other just sideways junk I've been talking about. Just needs more time, I think, to establish a clear trend one way or the other. And then lastly, BNT. This move is done, unfortunately, but hopefully somebody caught it from last week. I did not, but this is the type of edge-to-edge setup and trade and expectation and possibility and risk reward that is ideal. This is what you're looking for as far as edge-to-edge moves, and this volume is absolute insanity in order to make it through that 80% move. So when I see stuff like this edge-to-edge possibility, I kind of ignore VPVR, I ignore fundamentals, everything, because it just says price has been going down, it's consolidated, and now the possibility of reversal becomes higher and higher. So overall, there are a few diamonds in the rough this week. Looking at the BTC pairs, though, which I haven't, which I recommend you do, probably doesn't look so hot. Ideally, you're rotating into some of this stuff when BTC looks weak or sideways at all-time highs, which may not be for another 10 days or more. I think towards the end of the month, we're going to see some sort of down move on BTC, just a matter of the percentage due to futures and CME expirations, quad witching, that sort of thing. So hopefully this scan was helpful and happy trading.